So hey guys, I just did a bit of the um, browsing on the web, and I was trying to I was merely trying to find some answers that can explain my current situation, and it turns out that I am not alone in in this situation, in this particular depressing and frustrating situation. So I have managed to translate some of this text into English. If you guys um, can take a look while you are listening. So the question here translated as, how far are we from becoming the infamous Sanwa Mitsuwa Daijin God, Sanwa God? So I just like to translate these answers in Mandarin Chinese to English. So briefly, I just like to briefly translate this, and they also, in the meantime, a bit of summarizing. So this dude said his nickname Lauhan, and majoring or specializing in answering questions relating to psychology, politics, communications, fitness, economics, films, imagination, and astrologies. Yep, this dude seems to have agreed to the to the dude who asked the question. For most, or for a significant number of 90s, for a significant number of youths who were born in the late or early 90s of 20th century, the society has begun to force people to gamble with their lives, and so does the emergence of Buddhism, which basically corresponds to the to the Asian Indian society. They are these struggles, the struggles from within the lower social classes, the less privileged. So we can pretty much attribute this type of hikikomoriism culture to nowadays society, which forces us to gamble with our lives, with our future, by doing absolutely nothing productive, but just remaining idle, wasting our time, wasting our lives. And I heard that many senior employee has a firm grasp of all their resources, while letting themselves, while they feed themselves with plenty of resources they have on hand and access to, and they are unwilling to they are even unwilling to let their new recruits, drink some soup they left over. They have come very close to letting their those younger or newer employees to go and eat crabs. And on the other hand, they have double quoted a response from a anonymous author. Once I saw that those Sanwa Mitsuwa gods, those those Mitsuwa hikikomori dudes who are unwilling to grab a full-time job, feeding themselves, helping themselves to make ends meet, but instead, I still highly admire them. I think they, one of these guys, he's been living a life. He's got himself red pilled, and he's been living a somewhat life of wisdom. But I heard he's recently got himself a full-time employment, so I became very upset with that. And it all appears he was just one of us who has no other choice but to escape from this cruel reality. So you see that every society has its mainstream values, its mainstream way of judging and seeing people and things, as well as social phenomena. Even for a utterly liberal society, it's no exception for a 100% utterly liberal society to respond to respond to such way of living, lifestyle, etc. Let's say, for example, what does the social standard, the social norms mean? Is that this dude he is just one dude who merely belongs to a multitude of those people who don't want to conform to social norms. So let's say, for example, while you're at high school, teachers will compel you and each and every one of you, your classmates, to believe that the grades you receive matters a lot more than even than your hobbies and relationship. All you eat, all you sleep, all you shit, you eat, you sleep for better grades, and subsequently they will they will discourage or at least disincentivize you from falling in love with someone in your class. Mobile phones, gaming, hobbies, even at higher education institutions, they will at least disincentivize those things, and in other words, they will zealously encourage you to study very hard and make examples of those, who managed to achieve academically, exceptionally prestigious and praiseworthy. And they make you take grades you receive for granted. Those benchmarking, and once you begin to to start once you begin to think on your own, think for yourself, make judgment independently, and which means they give you some time. They will still give you some buffering time before you made it out to the society and make your own living. That benchmark, that standard of benchmarking your performance becomes currency, money. Everything that can lead to financial prosperity will attract more and more people, will lure more and more people to commit to such deeds. Just like, crabs lures flies to itself, and but still the reality vastly differs from the theory, from the principles that's been ingrained into your minds, that characterized by justice, by the so-called justice. But you find yourself in a world where justice no longer exists. You don't get, the amount of reimbursement, the amount of rewards you receive from doing the work just doesn't match the amount of workload, the amount of effort you have to put in. So basically, yeah. So it's basically our standard, our benchmark of success vary accordingly, not exactly accordingly, but it still varies as we age, as we mature physically and mentally. So to speak, the worldly indoctrination has taken away our ability to judge and to get closer to the truth and finally acquire the truth. So since this world, or you can also prefer to call it the matrix, forces us to do things we don't particularly enjoy doing, and just by taking away our time and energy to think on our own terms, to do things on our own terms, and I think, success itself is pretty much, it pretty much means nothing more than a visual hallucinations, a visually pleasant hallucinations you receive right after you get that job done. You get that mission accomplished. You get that goal attained. But eventually, each and every one of us has to die, and so, what do you guys think? I'll leave you to judge, to assess this matter further. So thank you for watching and listening. I'm your host, Francis Undead. Signing off. See you next time on YouTube. Stay tuned, stay blessed, stay faithful. Cheers.